453 days since now 16-year-old Sebastian Rogers vanished from his home in Hendersonville. His disappearance sparked national headlines, but now his father says the case is losing momentum. With National Missing Children's Day coming up on Sunday, he is raising his voice and demanding urgency. News 2's Caitlin.
I went and talked to neighbors, and every single one of them, every single one, welcomed me. And if they had video surveillance, they gave it to me. The only person that would not talk to me, as the only person that had something to hide and wouldn't talk to me. You know, she has a son that's hiding and waiting for somebody in the dark, late night on the 25th, and there needs to be some explaining for that. I'll just leave it at that.
That we are going to keep searching, we are going to keep looking, we are going to find him, and we are going to bring him home.
Since we first aired the video last month, authorities have said no evidentiary value.
It is of no evidentiary value. It is of no evidentiary value.
Can you tell me what those lights are?
No.
Why?
Because the investigation remains ongoing.
Yeah, I'm working on behalf of Sebastian. I am not. My client is Sebastian, and they're the guardians that have the ability to sign.
It just started. Hi, Dad. I know this is gonna sound weird, but tomorrow's picture day. So could you send some decent clothes over to me so that I can wear the decent clothes and be handsome for my birthday with all decent clothes? Mom.
Because our heart is missing. He is my world. I need him. I need him back with me.
Everyone wants to hear what you have to say. And it's all about bringing Sebastian home and safely. So first, just express, I can't even imagine as a parent what you two are going through. How would you describe the situation right now? How are you coping?
All right, welcome everybody. How is everybody doing? Happy Monday. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me fix this. Let me know how I sound in chat. I will be getting a new mic thanks to Cajun Juju. I'm going to be looking at one in the next couple days and order one. This one has served its purpose. I think the cord, probably the wires or something that are starting to get maybe frayed or something. But anyway, let me know how I sound for right now. And if there's any issues, I know exactly. That's why I play that. It's kind of an odd transition to start a live just after that, because it's so sad to see Sebastian's voicemail with Seth, and then cutting to this. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Okay, let's see. Laura says sound is good. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to try not to lean into the mic, because I think that's when it starts to, because I turned up the gain, which is basically another term for volume, that it picks up. And yeah, if I get like real close, I think it gets loud, but also that it gets super staticky. So sounds good. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to try to keep this live short to probably just a little over an hour, because I want to do a members live, because I keep saying I'm going to do one. And of course, I wasn't feeling well yesterday. So we'll do a members live tonight, right after this show. I'll actually set it up just towards the end of this live. That way I can send in the link for all the members that want to join. But anyway, let's see where to start. You know what? I was going to save it for the end, but since for everybody that's came here early, I did get. Sorry, I got an itch. Oh, what do you guys think about the shirt too? Yeah, I don't wear this shirt very often because it's well, one, it's white, and of course, huge fan of Stranger Things, and I've always just kind of I got this last year, or no, I got this a couple of years ago, but don't wear it very much. But yeah, it's like one of my favorite shirts. I love Stranger Things. Not to get off topic, but anyway, yeah, we can do some Wordle. There you go. Anyway, um, I'll show this, and then as more people come in, we'll show this again. But da, da. And a huge shout out to Hindsight for this. Oh, I guess we'll start with this, but then we'll show the other thing. But At Night released a screenshot. I'm like 99% sure. I'm sure Hindsight would know as well. This is taken from the Strike and Spare that they went to after grocery shopping on Sunday. Of course, the team, of course, law enforcement has it, but the team has it as well. The At Night team, as I'm referring to, clearly. And this is a screenshot where it looks like they're at the desk, maybe, I don't know, asking to see if there's any lanes open or whatever. But anyway, would be interesting if they would release this. I mean, if they have it. I mean, they released the Texas Roadhouse. In my personal opinion, after, we're coming up on 2 years, I don't see why you just wouldn't release it unless there's something in there that they're, want to kind of keep tight-lipped. But even then, after 2 years, I don't know why you would. In my opinion, I would release it. But as long as they have it, that's good. Someone else besides law enforcement that can review it. But yeah, again, rumor has it that in this video, Kitty claims that, they're having a great time, but rumor has it that they had seen kind of the opposite. I can't elaborate too much because personally I haven't seen it, so I don't want to speculate too much. But in the rumor mill, and this has been talked online, I think before on other channels. I've heard even talk about maybe like what appeared to be an argument, but of course, if there's like no audio and if the quality's not that great, how much can you really discern from a video of this kind of quality? But so it would be interesting to see what his demeanor would be like. Is it just like at Texas Roadhouse where he's just kind of more what appears to be overstimulated? Sadly. Rob says, whatever happened to the pics that At Night released of bags with logos on them? Bags of with logos. I don't know. Does anybody know in chat? Maybe Hindsight might know. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're referring to. I don't doubt they had. I know they've released a lot of different stuff, and I always try to, you know, save it, especially if there's any kind of images. But I'm not sure. Yeah, and I think that's right, Lisa. I think it's been a minute since I've listened to what Seth described what he saw. And yeah, he may have even said some things on there. Maybe I'll have to go back and watch some of Seth's videos again. Yeah, it looks cropped. It's definitely cropped for sure, Susan. I'm sure it's cropped and it's zoomed in. So that's what it looked originally. They kind of put it on the new poster because, it's obviously one of the last images. Well, not the last image, but one of the few from that night. And then I remember they released this one, obviously, and now we have more. This is more obviously in color, and Sebastian is probably standing just off screen here, and I'm assuming this is probably the same screenshot. Um, you can definitely tell that camera definitely is not the best quality with how pixelated everything is. It looks like this guy's got I guess at first I thought maybe his jaw was like, he must have a goatee there, maybe. Looks like an alien. I don't actually no, that's not. Oh, I thought this was a head. Actually, never mind. I'm not even sure what this is. I don't know. Maybe it is because that looks like an ear and that looks like a hairline, and maybe that's a goatee. I don't know. The framing's weird, but anyway. It looks malnourished. Yeah. It does. Now, keep in mind, I mean, I guess when you're taking yeah, I see what you guys are saying. Yeah. That's the one I did. Yeah, I don't see much of his arm. I mean, it's tough to discern. I mean, because whenever you crop a photo, they may have tried to. So keep this in mind. Just play devil's advocate a little bit. If they were cropping the video, the image from surveillance, they could have. If they were trying to, because clearly they were, fitting into these boxes here. They may have moved the ratio in, which would have made them really skinny or skinnier. Not saying that happened, but that's always possible. But I mean, everything else looks proportioned normally, so I don't know. That's possible. Poor kid. Anyway, I was gonna save this for the end, but I'll show this at the beginning and then I'll show it at the end. But thanks to hindsight, I cannot believe it. I've got the best image I've ever had since starting this case of someone that finally took the proper angle. It's not the complete proper angle because they're not looking down, but it's at night and we can see, and it's from a height that's close to the camera level, and they're in the driveway. The only issue is they're not looking angled down, and then of course a little more to the left. But other than that, this is amazing. This is the best. So you guys get to see probably the closest it would look like if we were actually watching this. So I'm happy to show you guys this. Now I showed two versions, and I keep in mind I just got this like maybe an hour before I went live. So I didn't have a lot of time because remember the video's bouncing around and everything. So it is a pain in the ass to like keep it locked in. But anyway, I'm gonna play it for you guys, so you guys get to find it. I'm gonna show the zoomed out portion first, and then I'll show the zoomed in, and you'll see everything beeps right where it should. And I even have one of the floodlights that are on to actually kind of anchor, which is amazing. I can't believe these guys. If I get time, I'll play part of the video, but I just can't believe these guys and what they did. Yeah. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to probably go full screen so you guys can see the zoomed out really well. Actually, I'll probably go full screen for both of them. So I'm just going to play it so you guys can see this. This is probably going to be the closest. Again, it's not going to be the exact thing, but this will probably be the closest until I can work on it a little bit more. But this is actually really cool. So let me go full screen for you guys real quick and check this out. Yeah, I didn't want sound on there. I was just kind of showing it full zoom. I'm sorry, guys. Um, okay, now here's the zoomed in one. Here we go. And this one I worked on a little bit more because I knew the zoomed in one you guys would be a little more. But keep in mind, see how much it bounces around. So again, it just, if I had more time, it wouldn't be bouncing around as much. But this is the closest thing we're gonna get right now. But look how it comes in, and look where it disappears. I mean, almost perfectly where this thing is at. And then I'm just gonna keep my mouse right here, and I have the one floodlight to basically kind of. And again, like I said, I know it's bouncing around a little bit. It's the best I can do. I keep trying to recenter it. If I had many more hours, I would have it frame by frame. But notice subject one's going to go off. Remember, it disappeared right here, right where this thing is at. And then here in just a second. And look at where it popped in. I mean, right here it pops in and it we see it here and here. I mean, do you guys think that is just a random coincidence? I know I've done this a million times, but again, I've never had this kind of angle. I mean, this is the closest. This is not 100% because the camera would still be tilted down, which would still kind of um, make like these trees go a little bit taller. It would change a little bit of the dynamics, but I would say this is like 80% of the way there. Yeah, I call it a gazebo. Mic check, mic check. Okay, you guys can hear me, right? Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. There's something that I did find that's interesting from this, though. Okay, good. Oh, yeah. That's what I call it, gazebo. Okay. Anyway, one thing, and this is why you need 100% accurate. But okay, one thing to notice. I wonder if I should get the real photo out real quick. To talk about. Garbage. Okay. So this is what's funny. So I'm just gonna be transparent. This came from Crabtree. This might even been when they went to do the reenactment or whatever. But look how much more this looks correct, right? The angle. Remember, if you had now the funny thing is the vehicles. Actually, they must have done a different night. So it means it came out multiple nights because the night that they did it, the one truck with the boat was going this way. They had, I think, one car here, maybe two, but I don't know. I guess we could go look at their thing. But I know that these trucks, at least one of them, was this way. So this might have been a different night. But you can clearly see one of the floodlights. And then the other one, guess where it's at? It is right behind this tree. And that whole this is what I'm doing. The whole reason you've got this one that acts a little bit different from this is because this one on the left is the one behind the tree. And I think the only difference is if he would have moved, let me zoom in out. Yeah, so it looks like he's still not quite to the right. If he would have moved over just a little bit, I think this tree would have been the one partially blocking this one, and we would have seen this one. So just kind of flip, because obviously you start to move to the right, your foreground's going to start to move to the left. And anyway, yeah, but there's the floodlight. But yeah, this is exciting to actually, for me anyway, to actually see something that is much more closer to what, if we were to be able to see the footage, from that night. Obviously, we probably wouldn't be able to see the foreground, which actually, this is what's kind of neat, is it was lit up enough with his, I'm assuming this guy must have gotten uh maybe a bigger motion light or two motion lights, which clearly illuminate the background. Because keep in mind, they did this in December. So, and from my understanding, he got a new camera. And I know he moved the motion light, because when we watch Silver's, we have the one that's like right under the security camera. When Sebastian went missing, the motion light was over by closer to the boat. Um, but yeah, I mean, again, I'm gonna have some more off time. I'll fix this up because again, it takes a long time to be able to fix this, where it's not stuttering all over the place. But I mean, oh, and the other one more thing I want to mention is notice how it's beeping right here. Now, I thought it's possible it could be this tree. If the camera is tilted down a little, to the proper angle, would that cause this tree to go up a little bit, and that's what's causing the um thing to flash? Or more likely, because actually, if we go back and look at those trees, they're newer trees that were planted, and oh, we do have this one actually. Oh, and that's what it is. It's this tree. Oh, we just can't see it. It's this one. I was thinking about these ones because these ones grew. Um, that's what it is. Because you have the gazebo here, and you have one more object that tends to block. And I don't know why. We can see the little ones that they have. You can see the first one here, the bigger one in the back. We have the little ones in the front, and we have the two in the back. These two here. And this doesn't look like it has a lot of branches. Either it's that tree, or let's say if you want to say he's being moved, you could say maybe he's passing. Maybe if Sebastian is being exchanged here, you could say maybe Sebastian walked to and obscured the light here. And that's what kind of why it's like fading in and out. Maybe somebody's walking in tandem almost next to each other. And so maybe he's kind of blocking the light if somebody's walking in tandem. So one person has the flashlight, KK, and he's walking in tandem with her. One more time. I guess I won't play this at the end because we have like 500 people in here. But one last time, and then we'll get to the main part of the show. But this is again, this is exciting. because again, I have the actual floodlight. I mean, this is almost not perfect because it's still not the 100% proper angle, but it is close. And the fact that it's still like, I'd prefer like just a daytime shot from like that camera, but it is kind of cool to see this at night because it kind of gives you that perspective. And I mean, just again, that's just, and what's cool is I'll be able to run this through ChatGPT, get me maybe a approximate size of the gazebo and field of view, a bunch of different math measurements, and discern from when subject 2 is here to here, and if I can get maybe the size between these floodlights. There's multiple different ways I guess I could do this, but I could get the size of the floodlights between each other. And then, I mean, look at that. Come on. It's too perfect. But now looking at this makes me wonder. I always thought it was a tree right here. I mean, there is, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of leaves because clearly look at this one. I mean, there's nothing on it. And this one's not this one, but the one behind it. It doesn't really have a lot. I do wonder, does that show a sign of somebody walking beside him, or him or they, or whatever? And it even beeps a little bit just before. I mean, it really seems like there is somebody. I mean, because look at this. The rest of this is pretty open. Yeah, I mean, this is what it would be, right? Because this is February when this is taken. So I don't know. Is that a sign that somebody is walking next to him? Very interesting. I'll have to run that through AI. Oh, thank you, Lisa, for gifting a membership. Oh, that's funny. Did you gift a membership and it gave it to you? Which is kind of, I don't know. Oh, thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. Diana, Chris, I just want to say thank you. You don't do 15 minutes of information and 3 hours of saying hello to every single person. You are always discussing the information you find in here. Thank you. Oh, I appreciate that. I know it's tough to be in that position because it's like, yeah, I want to, because you guys are taking the time out of your day to join me, listen to what I have to say. And yeah, I wish I could just shout out everybody. But when you have over 100 people, yeah, it'll take me like 30 minutes, and I would do it every show. But of course, people are here for information. But again, that does not take away from the fact that I do wish I could shout every single person out.
It has
really, I'm an extension of my mods who do such an amazing job at welcoming everybody. All right, guys. So there's that, and I'm going to work on that. We'll have a little bit better version of that where it's not as moving as much, and maybe I'll have some measurements, which would be really cool. I really want to measure that gazebo and see now, because and maybe we could get more data, because if you've been with us for the last month, we've been getting a lot of data. I know sometimes that can be a little bit redundant, but keep in mind the data is very important for what we're trying to do, to get law enforcement's attention, specifically TBI and hopefully FBI as well, at least on my end anyway. But yeah, so speaking of data, because I want to try to keep the show. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate it. And of course, to all my mods, D, Jocelyn, Sensei, Jennifer, Sassy. So moving on from that, I guess we'll stick with the data and then move into another subject. And yes, we'll be covering other cases. I may start that tomorrow or Wednesday. I'll probably do like a poll or something on my community page. And yeah, and then we'll just maybe rotate like every other day. That way it's not getting stale with Sebastian. But maybe a few months down the road, maybe we can. Definitely within a month or two, by the end of this year, at least for my Twitter string thing that I'm going to have for all the reports, where I just tag TBI and FBI with all the data that I've done. That is, something we're going to do live. That way we can push it and try to get, the algorithm on our side. And yeah, so there's that. And then, there may be other things in the works, but that, something maybe down the road. So, okay. He looks not like the boy an hour eating. Oh, yeah, I see what you said. Oh, good question. Would the measurements be on Zillow? No, I don't. I think they have measurements of the homes. But they do have a site that's kind of like Google Earth or Google Maps, where it has the topography, which has more accurate measurements, which somebody referred to me in this channel before or in the chat, which is really amazing. And I will be able to use that. But yeah, you're close. I don't, they definitely do have measurements of the homes, but I don't know. I don't know if the exact data I'm looking for. Zillow would have that, but that's not a bad thought or suggestion. I'm sorry. Okay, let's see here. Okay, it looks so much different now that we have the dark, and it's zoomed out more. Sorry, not to get distracted, but oh my gosh, that's so much better. This is what I was working with before. And again, this is still, not bad, but when you have something that's a little bit, you can tell this is a little bit more to the right. And that's the more better angle of where the camera's at, which is great. Because again, I could only, from what I have available to me, and that was Google Street. And obviously, he's not taking a picture or whatever every inch or whatever. So, yeah, that's amazing. Anyway, so speaking of data, we're not going to go much into it, but I just wanted to follow up on. Is this the only one I have? Oh, okay. Here we go. So we talked about this the last week or so. Again, this is huge. I think it's bigger than some people may even realize. And why they're doing this and how unique this thing is. And we have kind of gone over it, what it is. We'll touch on that if maybe you missed a bit. And then I'll talk to you about how, like, they don't use this in missing person cases. This is not, and I even, did some research like, when has this been used just in a missing persons case? And we'll kind of talk about the data behind it and what this likely infers, which again is probably not going to surprise anybody, but maybe some people missed a show or two. And again, I've got a little bit more data on this that I think is exciting. Rachel says, coming in hot. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Ooh, that kind of matches with the Hellfire Club. Hey, Seth. Hope you're doing well. Prayers for you. And man, always thinking about you and always trying to do my part on my end. And I know not just me, but so many others, and trying to keep his name out there. Anyway, so just to kind of touch on this, and then we'll move to the main part of the show. Give me a second here. And I noticed, I think I mentioned this in the other show, my chat GPT obsession has now rubbed off on other creators, which is great, because I always want to combine the whole word. GPT is really amazing. So, okay. We're just gonna go over just a couple of key things. Oh, here we go. I think. Yes. All right. Oh, me too, Jocelyn. I know. Not to get sidetracked. We're here for Sebastian, but I know. We'll talk a little bit in the member show. Baker says I would say that to current affairs, because what Craddock has not done for Sebastian Rogers. I agree 100% on that. Yeah. Chris, does iPhone have Google Timeline like Android? You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not an iPhone guy. I'm an Android guy. So I don't know. I don't know if somebody. Oh, look at Anthony. Look at this. This is why this is so great to have a great community. Anthony coming in with the measurements. And there's my pin. 16 by 16, huh? That's feet, I'm assuming. Right? 16 feet. What was that other measurement? 4-foot panel? Interesting. Okay. I'll kind of put that down, then I can kind of just say, hey, this is what I think the measurements are. And of course, ChatGPT, if I can give it other objects that are in the field of view and their approximate measurement, then the math just starts to kind of, help each other out. If that makes sense. Okay. So this 3D scanner, we've gone over a few bit. Oh no, I'm sorry, Kiki. That sucks. Oh, that's terrible. I agree, Julie. I agree. As someone who's spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours on that damn thing, I agree. So anyway, just for anybody who doesn't know, this is a 3D scanner. The main two brands that they usually have is Faro, Faro, or Leica. Probably pronouncing it wrong. It's Leica, CA, not CK. Leica, Leica. Anyway, that's the brand. It's a 360 scanner. Keep in mind, this is something that they just don't whip out in a missing persons case. Now, this was seen around, I just want to say around because we don't know 100%, around the time that they're searching the landfill. Where they're at, if anybody doesn't know, they're in between the Proudfoot and the car's backyards. It's literally stationed right in between the two yards themselves. And if you missed it, so they're literally, we got the Proudfeet home and we got cars. They're literally situated right here, which I find interesting. I found a little bit more details. Now, what they usually do with something like this, now remember, this isn't something they use normally in a missing persons case, right? They use this usually in accident reconstruction. If they have a homicide that they need to, like in the Brian Kober case where they're going to tear down that home, they did used one of these kind of machines where they literally recreated everything, scanned the whole entire home. That way, when there was a full trial, they'd be able to look at it in 3D, map out all the evidence and everything, so on and so forth. But let's see, before I read this. And look at the way they were looking. And I'm pretty sure that's Craddock in the middle. If anybody knows these other fellows, I'm sure one of these are TBI. I'm very sure at the very least this guy's TBI. But I find it interesting that they're on Chris Carr's property and not in the middle, like with the machine. I do find that very interesting, and I do have a theory on that. But let's just get to the meat and potatoes here. Let me get my caught up on this. Let's see. All right, so I don't get lost. So what we learned before, because again, I'm not going to go through everything, but basically what this is used for is, so we have this 3 a.m. video, right? Let's see. And because it's so dark, right? Without the overlay, I don't. But you've seen the screenshot. Obviously, it's super dark. All we can see is the subjects moving. And of course, when we play it, we have it super zoomed in, right? But all that stuff's way out there. It's dark. They can't really see. They see the flashlights moving, but and they have some points of reference more closer to the camera, obviously, but further out they go because it's darker. We have the floodlights and we can kind of discern from that. But other than that, to get the better idea of like the actual approximation of where these lights are moving and where they're at, well, what they do is they take this machine, because again, they don't use this machine for just any regular old case. This is typically used for, like I said, what I just mentioned. But then when I started feeding information about the scenario that we're in, where we have this video from this side, and then we have action going on, we have subjects going on. So here we have the camera, we have subjects moving here, right? Let me get a little bit closer. So we have the subjects, but it's really dark over here. So then what they're going to do is, sorry, I'm looking at my screen, and they'll have the 3D scanner back this way and slowly move out. Sorry, maybe I should choose. But they'll slowly start scanning all this, and they'll start even moving back, right? So if they're moving back, they'll eventually end up. So they probably started somewhere, here. And from what it told me is they typically, in something like this, they'll do it like 6 times. I think it said like 4 to 6. So they probably did it, maybe like here, and they did it here, and they did it here. This is just kind of guessing. And then they did it here. This is where we see them standing. And so as you can see, they're standing all the way, almost at the, they're behind Proudfoot's home, but they're almost fully north of their backyard. They're still in the backyard area, but, in between. But they would slowly push that back anyway. And they're getting these 3D scans that way. And I think there's 2 reasons. I know the first one for sure. But that way, what they do is then they have that 3D scan, and then they feed the video into it. And because they have the measurements of the background, right, of where these lights are going on, now they can kind of basically get the information of where these lights were approximately positioned, where they were to objects that, like homes, trees, whatever's in the environment. And then basically they can discern, okay, what's causing this to flicker, right? They can then, so many avenues. So here I asked it, I'm like, how often are 3D scanners used in a missing persons case? Less than 5%, right? And if you ever looked up how many missing people go, how many missing people go missing per, minute, it's insane. Per day, Now a good portion of those, I forget the numbers. I did this a long time ago. I did all like the basic census for how many went missing per year, per day, per week, per year, and then I forget and I'm just spouting out just an example, but like maybe 30% of those are runaways. You have another percent, so a good percent are runaways, and they come back. But again, there's a lot, right? So less than 5%. That just kind of shows you, right? Now, missing persons with suspicious or criminal indicators, moderate to high frequency of use. 50 to 80% of cases involving possible foul play. Scene reconstruction. Scene reconstruction helps determine entry or exit routes, concealment areas, confirm or refute witness statements. And then I asked it, why would they take multiple scans, or, because it appeared like they were moving. And they said, yeah, they move it every 10 to 20 meters, or like me, I use feet, 30 to 60 feet. And it says anywhere from 6 to 12 positions that it'll do. Let's see that. Yeah, so, and then it just goes a little bit deeper detail, which we've kind of talked about. Reconstruct the line of sight from nearby cameras. Now, remember, here's the other thing I fed it, because I thought, it's kind of interesting. They went all the way back to this one spot where, remember, look at where they're at, and we know, oops. Up here, 1 second. And we know that, guess whose camera points right back at the Proudfoot's home? And guess where they're standing? They're standing literally this tree. Let me see if I have the other one. I mean, I do have the other one, just do I have it available? Man, I need to organize my stuff here. It's probably in the live. Yeah, one more thing here. I know it's in the live. It is right. Is that one? Did I move these? I gotta reorganize these badly. Oh, it's in here. It's in here. Okay, there's that one. I did move these. There it is. Yeah, let's do this one. Yeah, let's do this one. Okay. And it just so happens, Craddock or whoever, TBI, you can see a tree right there. You see this tree right there? Oops, I made chat here. And then I'll read chat. I'm sorry, guys. I just want to get this. But you see this tree right here. And that, this one, even though that is the daytime. That is this tree right here, which is close to the fence in between. So we're standing right here. So I find it interesting that they did a 3D scan here. And you have a camera that also. So it's almost the same thing. So could this imply that on this camera, Mr. Carley's camera, did they also capture maybe some unexplained movement that they needed to get a 3D recreation as well? Let me know what you guys think in the chat, but I do think that's interesting. They went that far back and scanned, and it just so happened to be right where another camera is facing towards them. Could be a coincidence. I don't know, but I don't believe in much coincidences when it comes to this case. Can I zoom in the corner of the white barn on this photo? Oh shoot, I closed it. I mean, we've scanned everything over here. I don't know if you're wondering what's here. This is the floodlights from the garage. This is just a reflection here. I don't know if that's what you're interested in. That's the neighbor across the street. And that is part of the van right here. I call it a shed. I guess it is a garage. I guess it is a secondary garage. Yeah, I call it a shed. But yeah, I guess you know what we're talking about. But yeah. Oh, I don't think she may not have her jacket on. No, she has her jacket on. No, she's wearing the same thing. Although it's funny you mentioned that because I was wondering what was she wearing that morning because I kind of think of the JonBenet Ramsey case where remember she allegedly went to bed right after they went over to the Whites. I think it was the Whites. And then after that the famous 911 call and they showed up. Well, she Patsy was wearing the same clothing she was at the party the night before and in makeup. So I don't know. Is that the same scanner that the previous sheriff was talking about when he said thermal imaging? No, this is that camera. That's a great question. No, this is a different type of scanner. I don't know if this would have the capabilities to do thermal imaging. I think great question. I don't think that's used, but what kind of camera does thermal imaging through walls? That's kind of looks like something you'd see in Ghostbusters. Is that what they really used? Doesn't that look like something you'd see in Ghostbusters? It's just missing the antennas. Oh wow, that is. Oh no, I want to go back to the other picture. That is wild. I thought it would just be like a normal camera. That is neat. That is really cool. It's like the Predator. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. It looks like I just can't help it. I love Ghostbusters, but yeah, that's interesting. I would think it would just be like a normal camera, but just has the infrared or FLIR. I guess it would be FLIR. That's pretty neat, though. Yeah, I bet they do. Oh, I bet they do. Yeah. So anyway, let's see. Did I close my chat GPT? Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so oh wait, was there one last thing and we'll move on, and I'll read chat here for a second. Um Yeah, and I was looking up, like, yeah, when you do a typical forensic job with one of these, it's 2 to 4 terabytes. So keep in mind that, just again, how much that device cost alone, 30 to 60K, um, you know, and the amount of data it would, take to save, because, again, to save all that data to recreate a 3D replica of the environment that you're recording. Was there one more thing I was gonna mention? Oh, yes. So I asked it, I gave it all the information. And I said, what do you think? Like, what do you think this is being used for? With the data I gave in it, I gave it just basic, said this is the Sebastian Rogers case. We have this video, not a lot of detail, just, the basics. And then I asked it, like, okay, how often is it used just in cases in general, which I just told you, missing persons, less than 5%. So it just shows you. And then I said, okay, what is this likely being used for? And is it basically saying it is criminal? So, yeah, basically non-criminal versus criminal. It said, very rare for a 3D scanner to be deployed. Normally, SAR teams, K9 units, search grids, everything else, right? Common for 3D scanning to be used, particularly if they're uncertain about what occurred in and around the home. There are possible signs of struggle or concealment, or the scene may later be presented in court. The purpose to lock in geometry of the environment before anything changes. That's key. So let's just say another thing that's huge about this, which is exciting, is that no matter what changes in this environment, right? Because things change. Come on. Trees are going to grow. This guy, whoever, I'm assuming it's this person, may want to get rid of this or remodel that, right? Well, let's say maybe something happens, the rest happens, 3 or 4 years later. Well, I'm sure, trees are going to grow. Maybe some other trees are going to get cut down. And so obviously, one main variable would be the environment itself is going to change. And so now having that scan, that locks that in. So no matter what, if they tear this down or rebuild it or, whatever, add something else in, they have that in there. So, but that just shows, like, again, what they're bringing this out for is looking into potential criminal activity. So I know that's kind of what we had assumed, and but I think that's, with a little bit more, asking it specific questions. And then the other thing I thought was interesting is the fact that because it's fairly far back from where the lights were moving. So that's why I asked it more like, do they move it? And how far do they actually move it? So We're probably seeing maybe like the tail end of them using this, and that they had probably started more closer to where the lights were moving, and then they just kind of moved back, and yeah. So I think that's very important, because this literally is something that could, if this goes criminal, and certain people are arrested, and let's say if they try to fight this in trial, this will be this could be one of the biggest pieces of evidence, really. You look back on this, 2 years later, whatever, if there's like a trial and, whatever, we'll be like, oh my God, we were talking about that. So anyway. Oh, no, I don't think so. I do fear that, though, because, and I know what you're saying, because law enforcement fudged it up really bad. And then I think not even only law enforcement, it was the prosecutor. Like, because I'm not going to say an expert, but I watched every day of that trial. I rewatched it. I mean, we're talking over a decade ago. That was the first time I was introduced to Nancy Grace, and fell in love with her passion, right? Anyway, long story short, there was a point to all that. Oh, yeah, I think the prosecutors really fudged up in that, sadly. Oh. Oh, thank you, Nurse Gummy Bear. I love that name, by the way, too. So, anyway, okay, so moving on. Let's see, what time is it? Oh my God, we haven't gone an hour? Holy shnikes. Man, so much I wanted to still get to. Okay, let's skim through this, but this is a topic that I really wanted to kind of discuss a little bit further in detail. Oh, and I wanted to play hindsight stuff too. Let's see if we can crack this. This is what I wanted to really play last time, but we went through a lot.
Has a
Jen says, do you still have the picture or video of suspicious people outlines near the shed? I think I know what you're talking about, and that was a tree. Because it literally looks like a person. And that was a tree. Do I still have the photo? Oh, I don't. Dang it. Yeah, it was a tree. I'm pretty sure that's the one you're referring to. But yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I'm nearly 700 people. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. And if you missed it, I'll play the 3 a.m. video again with the, I wouldn't say proper angle, but the closest thing we may ever get until we actually see the original, or a daylight original. But anyway, quickly touch on the mother right after when she wakes up, just that timeline. We didn't really get to discuss it because we were kind of focused on other things. So I just wanted to discuss this and get your guys' opinions, but let's just play this once. Here's the interview that they did, probably one of the last interviews they've done with America's Most Wanted. And definitely pay attention to what Katie says when she is talking about, waking up and searching.
contagious smile, loves video games, loves cats.
Boundless amounts of energy. Sebastian reminds me of a deer prancing through the woods, enjoying the smell, the breeze, new things. That's my son.
February 25th, the day before Sebastian went missing, Chris was in Memphis at work. So Sebastian and I went to Texas Roadhouse. After dinner, right around 9 o'clock, he laid down. I heard a noise in his room. I said, I don't care what you're doing, but you gotta knock it off and you gotta go to bed. And he answered, yes, ma'am. And I said, okay. And that was the last time that I spoke with Sebastian. The next morning, when I went in his room, he wasn't in his bed. After a minute or two, when I couldn't find him, I called Chris and I said, I can't find Sebastian. He's not in the house.
I got off of work and I had a text message from Sebastian's stepfather.
I said, hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but Sebastian missed him.
I headed straight over to their house.
I started driving through the neighborhood. I was panicking. I was looking everywhere. Like, where is he? What happened? Did he go with someone? Did someone take him?
I think it's so funny that she actually did this reenactment. And I had, anyway, let's just say some people saw her doing that reenactment, which is hilarious. And she was on Kellen. And it's funny when you look at how she's trying to, like, yeah, I'm looking.
He wasn't in his bed. After a minute or two, when I couldn't find him, I called Chris and I said, I can't find Sebastian. He's not in the house.
I got off of work and I had a text message from Sebastian's stepfather.
I said, hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but Sebastian missed him.
I headed straight over to their house.
I started driving through the neighborhood.
So here, and she said this time and time again. She starts out with, I was driving through the neighborhood. I think every time she said that, which is not true unless you want to count you leaving from your home and going straight to the school. I guess you could technically say that's driving through the neighborhood. But again, look where she's at. She's on Kellen.
I was panicking. I was looking everywhere. Like, where is he? What happened? Did he go with someone? Did someone take him? By the time I pulled into the school.
So this is where it gets very interesting. By the time I pulled into school. So keep that in mind. By the time I pulled into school, as if this school is like 10, 20 miles away. Well, that sounds kind of ridiculous, but 5, 10 miles away. When it's literally, a stone throws away from where they live. It's almost next door.
Christopher was already telling me to turn around because the authorities were on their way.
They used helicopters, they used drones, they used ATVs, horseback.
An extensive.
Okay, so here's the route she took. I know we've kind of gone over this, but I kind of didn't get to go over what I wanted to yesterday because we're kind of running late.
Into the school, Christopher was already telling me to turn around because the authorities were on their way.
They used helicopters, they used drones, they used ATVs, horseback.
An extensive search didn't yield one significant lead or even.
So clearly she drove, and the timeline is, because remember, we have the neighbor across the street who looked at their footage not only the night before, but that morning. It says she's seen Katie at 6:20 come out, and then there was a lady walking their dog, or I believe it's a lady. So it's 6:20, and I believe they were coming this way. I could be wrong. It could be the other way. But either way, Katie is seen coming out of the home, screaming Sebastian's name. And then I believe at that same moment, now remember, she's screaming Sebastian's name, yet she's supposed to be on a 3-way call with Mr. Crispy, Keep that in mind. Then she has a conversation for a minute or two with this neighbor walking the dog. And if I get any of these details wrong, please let me know. I'm pretty sure I'm like 90%. And again, this is, still coming from, third party, I guess. But there's been multiple accounts from many people who spoke to the person that saw this footage. So I'm pretty sure most of it's fairly spot on, maybe down to the actual minute, maybe, here or there. But again, at the same time, she's supposed to be on the phone with Crispy, yet, now I can understand she could have the phone in her hand, be screaming at Sebastian, right? But then she's having a conversation with somebody walking with their dog, and tells them, have you seen Sebastian? I haven't seen him. He's missing, not in the house. And then shortly after that, the next thing the neighbor sees, like right after, is her coming out of the garage with the vehicle. And now we are at 6:22, I believe. Now this drive, that's highlighted in the green. There's multiple ways to get into the high school, but there's one that cuts through. Well, I've got labeled green. I have a secondary path that's yellow, which would probably make you go a little bit slower because obviously you're driving right in front of the school, where even though it's still early, it's 30 minutes or maybe a little bit less. I know kids start getting there a little bit early, and because they have the middle and high school, I think one's that opens up at like 7:40 or 7:45, and the other one's at like 7:50 or 8. Somebody can correct me in chat, but something like that. When it comes to when school starts. But this is what's interesting. By the time she's here, probably a minute at most, 2 minutes have passed. Now, she would obviously be talking, she's on the 3-way call with Crispy. And at this point, she would have been on the phone for at least 15 minutes with Crispy. And here, within 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, according to her in that last interview, she gets the notification that
'cause I was looking for like potential meeting spots.
They're on their way. And that now she needs to turn around. And isn't that just so convenient that the second she gets there, she now needs to turn around? I mean, really, that drive is at most 3 minutes, unless there's a little bit congestion. I know when school gets closer to the time of opening, because it's just one road, I do know from multiple sources that it does start to get a little bit busier because obviously kids are getting dropped off. But, that's still, for her, it's still kind of earlier before the mayhem really starts to happen and congestion. So how do you not know in those 2 minutes that if Crispy's on the line with, whoever, law enforcement, sheriff, that they're going to be coming? Again, what are the odds within the 2 minutes or 3 minutes that she now is going to get, oh, now you've got to turn around because they're coming? Wouldn't she have known that like 5 minutes ago before she even got in her car? Like, wouldn't she have relayed like, hey, well, I'm going to go drive around for a bit to go look for him? Like any mother, I'm sure anybody in this chat would agree, like, hey, I'm going to, while you're doing that, I'm going to go search the immediate vicinity, make sure he's just not wandering around on one of the neighborhoods. But after at least 15 minutes passed of this 3-way call, how do you not know that he's at that point where they're dispatching and on their way, right? Then things didn't get any more suspicious. She is seen on camera just flying by NASCAR driving through. Now, I don't know 100%. This is another reason why I'm like, I know Dog's team has the footage. I don't know why. Just, if you release the Texas Roadhouse, why not? What's it going to hurt to, I understand if there's like students or something, we don't want to be showing anybody's, faces, but, there's workarounds for that. But it's still kind of early. I mean, why not just release that? Even if you have to edit it, to where it's not invading on anybody's privacy, right? And more so, if anybody from that team may be watching, at the very least, could they give me a timestamp? That would be awesome. If we could get a timestamp of when she's seen and like the exact camera. I don't know if anybody in chat knows that. That would be great. Maybe I'll wait for a second. Anybody in chat that may be close to that team or part of that team that knows the approximate timestamp and the camera, that would be awesome because then we could get more of the timeline. But anyway, moving on. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, again, that's what they say, I mean, maybe that's a little, maybe saying NASCAR's a little, but apparently she's driving, she isn't Miss Daisy. Let's just say that, from what they say, she isn't driving Miss Daisy, through the school. So what was the whole point of even going there? If in less than 3 to 4 minutes you're going to be turned around, how would you not know that if you're on a 3-way call? The whole thing I'm trying to get to, thank you, hindsight, I will. The other point I'm trying to get at is, does this further reinforce that she needed to get to somewhere, an objective, to hand something off, right? Because I find it interesting. She always mentions she was searching the neighborhood first. She drove through the neighborhood first, then got the call. And then this is, then of course we have the storage units, which allegedly they have owned 1 or 2. And then you have Mama Socks, who allegedly was seen by multiple people, allegedly. One said 5:30, the other one said 5:45. And we know she got up at 6 and she was there by 6:20. So maybe the time that they saw her there was more maybe closer to 6 a.m. and she's waiting there. But I really feel like there was an objective. There was something that they needed to drop off. Maybe Sebastian was in the trunk or in the vehicle somewhere, and she switched out Sebastian. Could it be clothes? Could it be electronics? Number of different things. But to me, there was an objective that she had to get to. And the narrative that they used was, well, I'm going to go check the school. When, of course, if I ask all of you, what would be the first thing you do if your child goes missing? And I'm sure a lot of you either had a child or more likely an animal, like a cat especially, or a dog that ran off or something. And what is the immediate vicinity you're checking? Would you go drive 2 miles away first, or would you be scanning the neighborhood? You'd be driving and with your window down, shouting, screaming, losing your voice. Exactly, Kiki. Deborah says, I believe he was, that would be interesting. They could have done the whole 3 a.m. flashlight as kind of like a ruse. I wouldn't put it past him. And this is a kind of case where, again, I try to tell people, try not to get, too tunnel vision or too, and I'm stubborn, so, and I get it. Like, you kind of get a theory and then you kind of want to stick with that, that kind of scenario. And I don't blame people that do. I mean, again, I'm stubborn as they come. But, I think it's always good to kind of keep a narrow-minded, open mind, at different variables or scenarios, because I would not put it past these to do a bunch of random stuff to really try to throw law enforcement off. Then the other thing that's wild is we don't have the dispatch come in until 6:33. Right? That is, on the thing, on the scanner. And well, at 6:32, we have her driving up the neighborhood after she came back from the school. So here's the other argument that adds a little bit of weight to this is, okay, she said, when I got to the school, they told me to turn around. Well, if now you're turning around and you're Speedy Gonzalez through the high school, why are you now doing this? Because this is after the school. Which means if she left her home at 6:22 and she's seen on Kellen at 6:32 here, that means she had approximately 7 to 9 minutes. I'll just kind of give a little bit of window, but I really think it's about 7 to 8 minutes. And if you think about it, the drive there is like 3 to 4 minutes, kind of depending on traffic. And then, of course, when school starts, it's probably a little bit more egregious. But that is literally just driving there and doing it quick, literally driving there and exactly turning right back around. So, again, why would you even do that if you're on a three-way call? You're going to know that they're going to be on their way. You're supposed to be hearing what, Chris is talking on the other end, allegedly. So, again, if they're on their way there, and now her whole point is now to be Speedy Gonzalez to turn back around, why are you now driving up Kellen? Why are you not going back home if they're on their way, right? Unless she was like thinking that she needs to get to this objective to maybe whatever she's trying to, move. Clothing, Sebastian, let me know in chat what you guys think. I mean, anything. Don't forget, now this is not, don't get confused because I don't want people, this is not the same storage unit. This is a U-Haul. But you can see Mama Socks. So she clearly has storage units. And again, this is so close to the Proudfoots, and if they had extra storage, if they had units available, I would not be surprised. I've heard people say that they've found statements that they do have, there's records that they own those. And then, of course, we have this one last thing here. Just one of the many accounts that said, I probably have the missing piece to a puzzle. On the 26th, around 5:45 in the morning, on the 26th, there was an SUV parked on the side of the road past the country store on New Hope Road. I cannot 100% swear by the Bible, but the SUV looks like Mama Sock's SUV. But if it is her vehicle, then that time adds up to when Sebastian's mother was about to drive to the school and look for him. I almost bet my life that she met up there with her, gave her, so they believe she passed off Sebastian. And then talks about the cameras, and then talking about going to, I think, also speaking with the owner. And that's one of the many reports. And I'll play this while I listen. Actually, let me Come on. Oh, you know what? I'm so sorry, guys. I meant to grab this earlier. Angel Baby, thank you so much. I pulled it up and I meant to read it. Hi, Chris and everybody. Is it just me or are these poor trees naked from the rest of the greenery? You're talking, of course, you're talking about the, oh, I don't have them now. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Thank you so much, Angel Baby. Yeah, the trees on the naked trees. Thank you, Angel. God bless you. Just wanted to say thank you for all you did to help find missing children. Thank you so much, Shirley. I appreciate that. And I think I got Rachel. Thank you guys so much for the support. You guys are so awesome. Oh. Okay. Anyway. Oh, is that right? Releasing new audio soon. Ooh. Oh, I wonder if okay. I wonder if it has to do with a phone call with oh, I forget. We'll come back to that.
Law enforcement has.
Right, Sebastian. Right beyond the Shell on New Hope. He said he had called it a
Oh, what?
about an hour before anonymously Post was parked.
The Hendersonville's on the ground every.
So I just want to play this one more time. I know we played this. Another chance to play this. This is former Sheriff Sonny, who it's tragic. He passed away in August of last year. He was kind of the original lead and the sheriff, and then Craddock took over after his passing. But let's listen to this one more time. It's just less than 2 minutes.
And I'm not telling you. I'm just trying to give you information on what we have done.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we've even called people with like cold cases and say, how did you find them? This is what we've done. And every one of them tells us, you've done everything you can do except find it.
Right.
And I wish we'd get a tip today and we could find it.
You said within a 5-mile radius.
Well, that's land search.
Yeah, land search.
There's a creek, several
where those woods connect. That is a second.
Father drove up here and got him and took him back.
And he said the morning of the 26th, around 5:30 in the morning, Kathy Bowersox was parked right beyond the Shell on New Hope. He said he had called it into Sumner County, but he hadn't heard anything back. And I believe Sebastian's dad called it in again. I'm sure footage has been pulled from the Shell right there. I don't know what other cameras would be right there. It looks like maybe there's like a storage unit kind of thing right beyond that Shell. Worsham's Market, you know. And the only reason I really believe there is validity, number one, I didn't feel like the man was lying to me, but also it was anonymously posted from someone, I think it was someone else because they described it a little bit differently.
You're talking about the mother's?
The Christopher's mother.
Okay.
Kathy Bowersox. Apparently has a decently recognizable SUV, probably because she's a real estate agent, that she was parked beyond Worsham's on the side of the road at 5:30 in the morning on February 26th, so about an hour before Sebastian was reported missing. I don't know. That's a little odd to me, and I just wanted to make sure y'all did have that tip.
I can tell you I don't know all the...
Maybe, well, I guess maybe hopefully Carter has that tip.
I mean, I think so. Everything goes to him.
Right.
Is he available?
So some people have noticed that he kind of got quiet and maybe knew more than what he was letting on. I've heard a couple of people listen to this. Of course, this has been out there for about a week now, I think, or a little less than a week. But yeah, that's the two former PIs, Heather and Chloe, and speaking with former Sheriff Roy Weatherford, aka Sonny. Looked like a nice sheriff, but sadly he passed away months later. And it seems like Craddock kind of, even before his passing, was taking over kind of the lead as far as Sumner County. But yeah, some people have noticed the way his responses are, even though I think this is kind of cut up as well. It'd be interesting to hear the unadulterated, unedited, because I feel like they've edited some things in here. I could be wrong. Maybe just to shorten the gaps of but anyway, it does seem like he may have known a little bit more, which could be telling that maybe there was more validity to this tip, right? So just wanted to point that out. Man, that is early, 6 a.m. Yeah, I'd get that like sports, maybe certain yeah, like special groups. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Storage unit. Crimecast got some good photos. And I think there's other people that do. Yeah, there's you can see one right here. I think there's at least 2 cameras at that storage unit alone, not to mention the gas station as well. So yeah, there is multiple cameras. They appear like they're kind of older cameras. But yeah, kind of interesting. But again, it just kind of goes back to why, when you're going to know that you're going to be turning around, and then, here you made it to the school, even if you were told like they're on their way, and you're just around the corner. Why would you not pull over and go into the high school, or find just like the nearest faculty person that works there, right? And says, hey, can you let the school know that my son is missing, and just by chance if he's in here, I have to now leave because law enforcement is on their way. But why would you not stop and let the school know? Like, your whole objective was to see if he walked to school, and yet you didn't even really do your objective. I mean, unless you want to claim that, speeding over to the school and speeding back around to go back home counts as, trying to look for him. Makes no sense to me. Zero. Oh, Lady Freedom. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I know there's a couple of people in here that have got some really good libraries of different events. So yeah, they said, yeah, and he also talked about 3D or 3D. I'm sorry, not 3D imaging, thermal imaging of the walls inside the home. So that even kind of shows you, like, because like, who gets lost in a wall, right? Really? Like, maybe he's saying that just to be like, um, be kind of formal and non-biased, or I don't know, biased is the right word, but I mean, what kid is getting inside a wall unless you really have like something that is like, you're remodeling, and there's literally a way you can get inside in between the walls of your home. Like, come on, like, you're not using that just to think he somehow slipped in between the walls. He was using that because they're looking into the criminal aspect of it. But exactly, Alyssa, right? The thought of it's like, oh yeah, Sebastian's in the walls again. Gosh darn it, Come on. Anyway, okay, so we have 700 people. If you missed it earlier, I'm gonna play this one more time, because I think we had maybe 400 people when I played it. One second. Did I edit it out? Did I edit it out? I did. Didn't I? Oh shoot. Okay. That's probably for the best. I will save it for next time. I do have a little bit of footage because again, I've got something in my eye that just flew in my eye. That sucks. I'm getting, some new surveillance footage and stuff from the neighborhood, and I wish I actually had the video so I could explain. Because some of the videos, so the 3 a.m. car, the 3 a.m. Killen car, the silver car, that house has multiple cameras, one looking down Killen, one looking up Killen. The one that looks up Killen that we see, the 3M car a lot, that it has audio on the camera, but for some reason, I don't know if it's just broken or like an older model camera. I don't know. For some reason, the audio on it just doesn't, it's there. Like if something's really loud, it picks up. But the other cameras he has really good audio. So basically, before I play this, because I have something, if you missed it earlier, it'd be interesting if you missed it. Because again, just trying to think outside the box, so allegedly she's screaming for Sebastian at 6 o'clock or 6:20 or whatever, could I actually hear that on the camera at 6:20 a.m. or, go through 6 a.m. and see? Again, the house is a distance away, but, you never know if she was screaming or not. I might be able to pick it up or, The other thing is there any audio of the 3M car, or maybe if there was audio of a second car, right? Anyway, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. If I actually had the visuals, it kind of make a little bit more sense. But anyway, in the near future, we'll have some other new footage. And again, I still have to get the okay, but I am going to try to release some footage that doesn't have any neighbors or anything walking around and upload that on my Patreon, again, without a paywall or anything for that particular footage, and just have it free. And I want that on a different medium besides YouTube. That way, just in case if anything happens, it's always there, if that makes sense. So, anyway, and then that people can go and look through it because, yeah, you never know what you might see because I'll be uploading times between when he went missing. That makes sense. Again, transparency is the best policy. All right. If you missed it earlier, interesting, fun. I know some people had checked around there. Did see, I think there was a mattress that was found there later on. I forget the date of how long after he went missing that they found this mattress over there. It could be unrelated. Maybe there's something to it. I mean, I don't know if somebody would be hauling and throwing out a mattress, but you never know. Weirder things have happened in this, in true crime. Yeah, exactly, Brenda. Like, again, trying to think outside the box, using other cameras that are a little bit further away to listen to audio from this that may happen around this area. It's always possible because a couple of those cameras do have good audio on them. There's so much footage that, it's going to take a while. Okay, so this is really exciting. If you missed it earlier today, it's the first time in a long time. This is the first time ever that I've actually gotten the best photo of where the camera's at. Now, this is still not 100% the right perfect angle, but I would say, if I was, perfect being a 10 and one being completely off, I would say this is like an 8.5. So if you missed it earlier, here is a proper reenactment, the closest that you will probably get so to date of what it would have looked like with a little bit of lighting and from the most almost not 100% accurate angle, but pretty darn close. So play this one more time. Again, I know I've played this a million times, but I've never had this background photo, which is the closest I've had. Now, I didn't have a lot of time to fix every single frame because I got this like an hour before I went live. So, in the future, I will have a much better accurate one. But the two main takeaways to keep an eye on is watch when subject 2 comes in, where it's, stops, the light fades off, and when it reappears. Because this angle's almost there. It's still not 100%, but it is close. So here we go. And look where it disappears. We have that gazebo. I know we've already kind of put this together, but again, I haven't had this best of angle since I've done this. And then watch when it appears. Three, two, one, 1.5, and no. Right there. And again, this isn't 100% accurate, of course, but what are the odds? And again, this is the best angle we've had because the other ones are more shifted to the left because of Google Earth or Google Maps, whatever. They take a picture every so many feet or whatever. And from where the actual camera's at, it's capturing this stuff more at an angle. And finally, I've got the closest angle. The other thing that get to learn a little bit now that we have a closer, better, is look after it comes back. If you missed this earlier, I always thought it was a tree because there is 2 trees, but there's actually, so we have this little tree here, but obviously this isn't blocking it. We have the 2 bigger trees in the back. Well, I wouldn't say they're much bigger. And of course it's fall, or not fall, late winter. And there's another tree here, but it's really like this one. And we looked on Google Earth. It's this one right here. And I always kind of thought maybe, oh, well, it's this one just kind of causing it to fade in and out. But this really doesn't have any, major branches. So I do wonder if this is actually what starts causing this, right here. Sorry, it's super slowed down. Right here. Is if you were to say, maybe if you're moving Sebastian, and that's KK, right? And subject 1's either Carly or Crispy or extended family member. But I would bet nearly the farm that this is KK, allegedly, in my opinion. And if someone was walking tandem with them and they're to the right, then they would, and of course only KK has a flashlight. Well, if you start kind of walking tandem, you would start to break that light source. And I do wonder if that's what that is. Oh, you don't understand Patreon? Like how to work it, or it's just kind of like a website for creators to upload stuff of, you know, you can upload photos, videos, and then of course you can, you know, have a subscription, or you can just pay for one post. You know, it's very cool. I do hate what they do for Apple users. I think it's so stupid. Apple users, I don't know what it is. That's why I hate Apple. They're always trying to get an extra dime out of you guys, whatever they can squeeze. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I can upload stuff that's free, or if you have, you know, a membership or whatever. Anyway. So yeah, that's exciting. Again, I only got this an hour before I went live, so I didn't really have a lot of time to clean it up better than I wanted it to. Oh, you think Nice was there? Go to transfer stations. Oh, yeah, interesting. Oh, you don't think this pick is Sebastian? I'm pretty sure, Wild Wolf, this is Sebastian. If this is the one you're talking about, I could be wrong. But yeah, this is Sebastian. That's definitely Katie. So anyway, people don't go, especially for members, we're going to do a member live. Actually, I'm going to set that up real quick. While I'm doing that, let me play. I wanted to, but of course, I've already gone way longer than I wanted it to. Let's darn it.
Finding the things you and your...
Oh, I hate why it does that to me. So I really wanted to play more of this. This is from Hindsight. They did a live yesterday. Really great. You know, they have a bunch of library stuff in their library of, you know, some very interesting stuff that Crispy says, because, you know, of course, 99% of the time it's Crispy, the one talking, right? The one who wasn't there. And I think it's a great live. If you want to go check that out. Carly is Mr. Carr. That's the neighbor behind the Stink Feet. And I do believe he's the one that allegedly had an affair with Katie. And it's not really a secret, I think, that they have a kind of an open relationship anyway. And yeah. And is it no surprise he's the one and only individual that has his house? This is a guy that just before Sebastian went missing had his house up for sale. Literally had it up for sale. And then not long after, took it off the market. There's a couple other things, but yeah. But yeah, in my opinion, I do believe he is a part of this somehow. There's Crispy. I just want to play this last little bit and then finish up. But man, I wanted to play more because they have some really good clips in here. But if you want to check out their live show, I put it in the chat. And then I'm going to post my members only live here right after this. But I just want to play this one clip. This is from Crabtree in December with Stinkfoot. And they're out there, and I find this very interesting.
It doesn't matter who it is.
The time of the year and the elements.
Yeah.
We're thinking, I mean, there's one thing that we're sitting here doing is walking freaking daylight.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're my
You walk this
nightmare.
motherfucker at night, you are not seeing anything in front of you.
Uh-uh.
So if you would have come across a hole or something, you would have gone down first before anything. Now,
That's why I think it's important.
that rock.
Come at me sideways, or you come at my family sideways, you can bet yourself that when we bring the proof, it's proof.
It's proof, baby. The proof is in the pudding. Yeah, I want to do a meme like that as well. I bring the proof. I lie every other day, but I bring the proof. There's no CPS reports. There's only one. There's 5 of them, but there's just one, really. There might be 3 one day, but then there's really just one. Man, I wish I would have been able to play this part where he talks about 3 turning into 1. It makes 0 sense how. Oh God, it's just. Oh man, yeah. Anyway, reason I wanted to play this, I want to ask if anybody has any more of this with Crispy and when they were out there searching, because I want to observe like what they're doing and what they're talking about. Just because if anybody doesn't know, I'm not an expert. I've just been involved in a lot of different searches independently. I had the honor to work with Texas EquiSearch, a lot of the same people that the team that worked on Dylan Rounds worked on Sebastian Rogers. And I've learned so much. And anyway, I would love to see more of this because I want to analyze it and do maybe a live on it or, a part topic, because there's things in here that I can tell that to me, this looks like they just went out to a place and, and this is like Crispy, probably one of the very few times, or maybe in his probably first, wouldn't be surprised me, of actually going out there pretending to search for Sebastian and then him actually realizing like, oh shit, yeah, this is crazy. Like, yeah, being barefoot, pitch black, how, and you're trying to make him sound like he made it somewhere, 7 miles barefoot and pitch black, into a lake or a dam or, a creek or whatever. Or he got ahead of the search team. Anyway, I would love to destroy it because, yeah, she might have it. Yeah, if anybody does, it has more of this. Trust me, because I could analyze it and show you guys, like, exactly where this was all just publicity, in my opinion, which makes me disgusted. Because last thing we'll end on and we'll finish up is to think about all the resources used to look for Sebastian when those resources could have been used for other cases, right? God knows how many thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands. I don't know what the total cost would be, but tens of thousands of dollars because they had a helicopter that were put into this, and then then we're not even talking about billboards and independent searches, all of that, right? When if this comes down to it being criminal and they're the ones involved, it just makes me sick to my stomach. So yeah. Anyway, let me play this last thing while I set up my members live. This is where he turns 3 into 1. I think it's hilarious that they played this. And again, you can find this on Hindsight 2002. I'm sorry.
Called on you before.
Yes.
Okay. And you don't have to go into it elaborate or anything like that. I just, that was the question that I had. And that happens, sometimes, especially when you have a child who is, has special needs and stuff. That's hard.
I'll be honest with you. I've had CPS called on me in 2 states. New Mexico and Tennessee.
And did that include with Sebastian?
Tennessee was Sebastian, yes, ma'am. And
Okay.
in fact, Sebastian here, like I said, I got nothing to hide. So Sebastian went to school one day because we were at the house. He got in trouble. He didn't have a belt on. I was like, "Where's your belt?" And got it. Whack. Kind of got him. So he goes to school and he tells the teacher. They're mandatory reporters. So the teacher reports it. That afternoon, CPS shows up to the house while we're actually sitting down to eat dinner. Now, mind you, 15-year-old child, he's not real happy because he's in trouble, so he's being punished.
I just wanted to stop that for one moment there before we continue, and just let's all be reminded that on Smiley, Chris has just admitted that he was a 15-year-old child when CPS came to the house that evening during dinner. Let's continue.
So he shows, he makes a report. They come to the house, and the lady who comes to the house is the same lady we've had. She's had a case before. Now, the case that was before was something that didn't even happen, and it's like 3 stories that were shoved into one. And when they finally got it debunked, they were like, "Oh, he got so mixed up in telling one story, it mixed into 3, and it caused a commotion." Well, they canceled that out.
That sounds so
So
stupid.
the one on me, she shows up, and I said,
And I'm trying to picture this. Like, okay, I'm assuming she probably pulled him aside, Sebastian. But wouldn't the lady, if he's starting to kind of like, get off track, and I got ADD, so, and maybe he, again, I can't get in the mind of Sebastian, but even if he did kind of try to, get off base of the subject, how is she not correct him, right? Because this is very important, between 3 and 1. That's very big, especially, it's a CPS report, right? Very big. I would think, if Sebastian starts to kind of like try to combine, these different scenarios or something, that lady's going to get to the bottom of, what incident is what. So that sounds so stupid to me. Absolutely ridiculous.
"Hey,
one
how
more
you
thing.
feeling?" It's her again. She's like, "Oh, hey." She goes, "Hey, I already don't." She's like, "Don't tell me anything, but I'm gonna tell you what I know happened." And I said, "Okay." She goes, "Blue, blue, blue." She told me exactly what happened. I said, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, "Oh my God." I said, "Yes, ma'am. This is how it's been." Sebastian thought by telling on me, making it sound like I was so horrible. And I was like, "No, Sebastian, you got punished, man. You got punished." And he was like, but, and I was like, "You got punished." And the lady took him outside. She goes, "Sebastian, just because you get in trouble and you get punished, you need to understand when you go and you say things about people and you lie and you fabricate things and you make it sound worse than what it is, sir, you can get in trouble for that." So that happened. And the lady was like, "I am so sorry." And I said, "No, he's just a child."
Okay, and then last part, and then again, if you want to listen, this is on Hindsight 2012. I want to say 2012. I'm so sorry, 2002.
What did he lie about?
I honestly don't remember at the time, but it was probably something to
Mr.
So what their Hindsight's, her and BMW are trying to point out is literally on Smiley's that he did, just like days before. I forget I'm sure if she's still in check and say what the difference, I forgot because I'm doing something else, but it's not far apart, right? So before the Nancy Grace was that Smiley's interview, right? And like she said, she pointed out he was 15, then Nancy Grace.
Proudfoot, to Mr. Proudfoot, to Mr. Proudfoot.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Proudfoot, what happened?
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I thought you were asking Katie. Sebastian
had gotten in trouble. He got caught lying. And I had asked him, I said, hey, you got to have a punishment for this. He says, yes, sir. And I said, okay. So I gave him a swat with a belt on his buttocks on the outside of his clothes. One swat.
What did he lie about?
I honestly don't remember at the time, but it was probably something dealing with school because that's the majority where his issues lie.
Did he have other issues at school?
Some behavioral stuff, but
anyway, he says, this was like 3 years ago, whatever. So again, he brings the proof, but, is an absolute habitual liar. Anyway, great stuff from Voices of Truth, going through the archives basically and kind of matching up, what he said here versus what he said there. And of course, it's no surprise. And there's one, I don't know, hindsight, I think you're still in the chat. There's one, and maybe you have it, but I heard it literally just about a week ago. It's a clip. I can't remember. I know he's probably on one of the, like, Illuminati or Queen Bee. And they ask him about it, and they say and they mention literally 5 reports. And again, it's been a minute, so I can't remember the exact quote, but he basically says, well, I cannot confirm or deny that. He says something like to that effect when they mention literally 5 CPS reports. And it's like, well, wait a minute, you've been saying there's 1 or 3 or whatever. And so it's like, well, what is it? So anyway. Yes, they did. I'm sorry, I wasn't feeling well, but yeah, they do such a great job. And of course they give their commentary, but Mr. Foot and Mouth, right. So anyway, for the future, we are gonna trade back and forth on, so it doesn't get stale with Sebastian Rogers, but again, there is a goal in mind, not just to keep his name out there, but behind the scenes, and so on. But we'll kind of try to switch back and forth. And yeah, so members, don't go anywhere. Well, on this particular video, you'll have to switch over. Let me get the link real quick for the members. There's that. Okay, so that's the link for the members live coming up. I got it set at 8:15. I'll probably start it. I just need to use the restroom, refresh my coffee, do a few things. So I'll be on in like less than 5 minutes after this live ends. So I will meet you guys over there for the members. And yeah, so 5 days ago. Yeah, there you go, Sassy. Thank you. That sounds about right. Oh, hi, aunties and mom. I appreciate Lisa and her hard work. And God bless you guys. Yeah. So 5 day difference. Yeah. And the whole 3 turning into 1, just, it makes no sense because I would think that'd be very, very important not to, but we know it's 5 and he's full of doo-doo. Anyway. All right, guys. Members, in just a few minutes, as soon as this ends, I'll just need to use a potty break and a drink. So probably a 2 to 5 minute gap. That'll be started up. And then tomorrow, hopefully we'll be back live. Maybe I'll do Sebastian one more day, and then so I can do a community post so we can vote on what case you want me to cover. I know Lily and Jack and Lily are up there, but we'll do a poll. So, and then yeah. So thank you to everybody taking the time out of their day, night, afternoon. And we will see you guys mañana, unless, I'm not feeling well. But God bless. And yeah, we'll start doing pet outros and stuff like that. That's what for the members are going to be talking about that. So, all right, guys. See you guys tomorrow. Members, we will see you here in just a couple of minutes. God bless you. Thank you, mods. I'm sure most of you I'll see here in just a minute. Thank you to my members of Patreons and to everybody in the chat. God bless. Oh, go Hellfire.